Welcome everyone, Marcelo is my name. I am the niche fragrance collector.
And I'm Eric. David is behind the camera, and we are Kaleidoscope Scent Index, and this is The Last Say.
Super excited to have Eric on The Last Say. This is something that we've been planning for quite some time, and as we were building what can we talk about, I know that Eric is a huge amouage fan. I've been a huge amouage fan for many years too. And the two that we settled on, my last say is going to be on Memoir Man, and on Eric's channel, he's going to be talking about Boundless. Now, one thing that I've discovered, which was quite serendipitous, is that they're perfumed by the same perfumer.
Yes, Karin Vinchon Spehner, and I actually had the pleasure of meeting her at Exxon's in Milan just a few weeks back. David and I did. David was tied up with Daniel from Seldomly Often, so they couldn't make their way around from the bar to meet her. Yeah, she's a beautiful soul, beautiful woman, and she has some true powerhouse fragrances. And I know more recently, I know this Memoir Man is a 2010 release, but she's done a lot of stuff for Anti lately, and it is really good.
And it's quite interesting because there are certain names that get sort of knocked around within the perfume world. But here's one, Karin, who is this quiet achiever. She's, if you actually look at her portfolio of fragrances, there are some classics in there that you're like, oh, Karin did that, Karin did that. So she's incredible at the work that she does, and very complex, very layered fragrances, glorious journeys as they evolve from when they start to how they end. So I'm super excited to be talking about both Memoir and Boundless. Have you sprayed Memoir Man on yourself as yet?
Yes, I have. I actually have it on this. David and I are really bougie now. We use cotton rounds since we came back from Milan, but I stopped in today. I actually took the day off with my two youngest, my 4-year-old and my 2-year-old, and we were in here actually packing up some orders. So
good for you.
I hit myself on the back of the hand with Memoir Man on one hand, and I put Boundless on the other. So I let them sit with me. I just gave myself a little spritz, a little refresh, but they were kicking throughout the, I would say, we're looking at 7 hours right now.
What do you love about Memoir Man? What drew you to it originally?
It wasn't one of my first pickups from AMOUGE. As you know, Marcelo, we go down this, it's like collecting records. You found out who played the drums on this record. You have to own every drum break he's done for every artist. And so in my quest to own every amouage fragrance possible, I would say that I purchased Memoir Man. Marcelo, I don't think I've owned this more than maybe 18 to 24 months at the max. But what drew me to it, obviously we go to Perfumo. It's the gift and the curse to read the reviews sometimes, but I was really big on this sandalwood kick at the time. So we're talking like Tam Dao from Diptyque, and also Sacred Wood from By Killian, and this actually took me down a little bit of a different path than those two did, for sure.
Now what I'm going to do is I'd love to spray. So I'm going to do a fresh spray on my hand, because I actually sprayed earlier, similar to you. I'm deep in the dry down on one of them, but I think the early notes on this are quite capturing. They really sort of startle you into the world. They just sort of grab you real quickly. What do you get? I'm curious, because I'll tell you what I get.
In the open, it is literally pencil shavings with some incense, and that wormwood, that is the standout. Not only in Memoir Man, but also it's featured in the open on Memoir Woman as well too. That's the first thing that I get.
So one thing that my brain does is I love picking notes. I try not to, and I try to get just the feeling of what the fragrance is doing as opposed to unboxing it. So the feeling that I get here is a forest, and I feel like it's early morning and it's bright and there's an energy, an electricity in the air. I agree with your pencil shaving, so you get that wood-like element to it. But what I get here is this incredible burst of herbals. I get like a mint, I get this green. I like basil. I like basil in my food, and I like basil in nature itself. So I get this super sharp green basil popping out, herbal-like, full of energy. Like I said, bright morning, sun's like, and even to the point the sun is actually doing like a time lapse across the forest, going. That's the sort of energy that is sort of emanating on that opening.
What's crazy about this too, Marcelo, is that you mentioned before we when we initially hopped on the call here that this reminds you of a fougere. And as it does dry down, you do get the lavender becomes a little bit more prominent, right? Hence your foray into the fougere lineup, for lack of a better wording.
Okay, so let's cover this point. I've got friends of mine that are forever obsessed with is this a man fragrance or a woman fragrance? It happened again last night. I was showing them, a good friend of mine, some fragrances, and he's like, can a man wear this, or is this more for a woman? There are certain fragrances that do sort of skew more masculine or feminine. Your opinion on Memoir Man? More masculine, or can a lady pull this off?
No, I think a lady can pull it off because it has some brightness to it. It's not a dark opening.
You know, the interesting thing is that I find this, and I guess maybe I'm interpreting it through my brain, and I know you can't see this picture, but behind me is, so I'm a big comic book fan, and there's an artist called Jim Lee, and it's the Jim Lee Batman behind me as he overlooks Gotham. And this is, for me, this fragrance. It's this very, not menacing, but definitely powerful, and has a force behind it. I don't see it as you, and I agree with you, it's not a dark fragrance. It does have sort of, empowering sunlight to it. But there is an edge, and similar to Batman, where, I guess he's a good guy, but he's really a vigilante bad guy. He beats the crap out of people. For me, it's a very forward-leaning fragrance. It's something that if you want to create a sense of strength and fortitude, this is the type of fragrance that I normally reach for.
I'm a right round here. Well, the camera looking at me would be their left, my right.
Yeah.
I have Memoir Woman. Okay.
Right.
I was chomping at the bit.
Okay.
A lot more rose than Memoir Woman, and the biggest glaring difference is there's actually orange. There's mandarin orange in the open of Memoir Woman.
Right.
So this Memoir Woman is definitely more targeted to the women, and the rose is brighter and the mandarin orange. And another thing, Marcelo, I don't know if you get this as well, but in that dry down, I mean, there's some leather in there, man.
Yeah,
it's popping through.
Yep. Definitely.
And I don't know. Memoir Woman was a perfume by Karin, Vinchon, Spehner. And I don't know if they were released around the same time. Very similar to Decision and Existence, just both perfumed by Quentin Biche and released on the same day. So I don't know if the chicken came before the egg or vice versa. But yeah, it is. And I'll wrap this up, but I just have to say this. I just did, I'm a Pisces, so my top 25 list is ever evolving. And you know as well as I do, Marcelo, that we have, I've probably sampled 1,000 fragrances since I did my last top 25 back in December. But I want to tell you something that is crazy.
Yeah.
You know how many people mentioned in the comments that Memoir Man should be on this list? Probably more than any fragrance in the comments. There were so many people that dropped in there and thought that Memoir Man is deserving of a top 25 of all time, which is crazy.
I totally agree. I actually did a underrated amouage because, you get some that really just overshine, they just sort of they just dominate, and everyone just keeps banging on about the same one. I did an underrated, and I did this months ago, so it's not like a recent thing.
Damn, this fragrance has been out for 16 years.
Right. I need to admit to a crime that I've committed.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I don't have Memoir Woman.
Marcelo.
That's just
shame
wrong,
on you.
isn't it? Shame.
I'm
you call yourself a collector. Shame on you.
Well, Marcelo, I think that I don't know how the availability that is there for you to actually get your hands on this, but
I'm going to do it
here in this. I think in the States it's heavily discounted. I think that you could find this heavily discounted.
We don't have that here in Australia because we're so far away. There is this there's this stronghold. The price is the price, And so, truthfully, when I get to Europe, but even the price in boutiques is just sensational compared to what we pay here. Yeah. So when I go overseas, that's when I sort of amp up my collections. But having said that, I make a promise to you here right now, and that is I will get Memoir Woman. I will begin to test it, and I'll talk about it on Mate Talk, and I'll reference you, mate.
My brother, I am literally, David, get a whiff of Memoir Woman. David's popping in here, obviously, but Memoir Woman, I am surprised. Dave, or Marcel, is there cardamom in Memoir Man?
My understanding.
Do you get any?
I don't get the cardamom. The
Okay.
greenness that I get, I do know that there is mint. So on that opening, I do get a very strong basil mixed in with the mint, and as you pointed out, the wormwood, so that absinthe, sort of licorice, sort of feeling to it.
Yes.
So the herbals on this and the greenness on this are really just pushed out to the top. So it could be that sort of green cardamom, sort of really spicy sharpness from that. Can I also point out on the dry down, sort of just looping back on earlier comments, the way that you explained pencil shaving is exactly where I land on its full dry down. So I've had it here for now 2 hours, and I get here the cedar wood sort of pencil shaving style of sort of profile, but mixed in with a very suede leather-like element to it. I find that the early herbals remain within the fragrance, so they still play in there, but now I'm getting a mixture of all these different things that push itself forward. I go back to what I was saying, it is the most soy hombre style of fragrance that I love wearing. If I'm going to a meeting, it's a great office, it's a great day to day. I actually wore it the other night. I was actually filming late 2 nights ago. It was my fragrance of choice, and as I moved, I would get this and I would get this wonderful woody effect, and I would always think to myself, "Man, I feel good. I feel like I'm the man," sort of thing.
Now, let me ask you this, Marcelo.
Hit me.
Would you say it's fairly linear?
Oh, I don't. Do you do?
Really? I would say what I've found with Memoir Man, and I'm so OCD, Marcelo. I track my wears in Parfumo, so I know what I'm wearing. But
sure.
I have reached for Memoir Woman a dozen more times than I have Memoir Man, because I find that very similar to Epic 56, a straight, which I much prefer over Epic Man.
Sure.
Epic Woman has a lot more going on, and there's a lot more peaks and valleys within Epic Woman. Okay, so I think I may be crippling myself mentally here as well too by saying that I'm putting Memoir Man in the wheelhouse of a Tamdao, which is linear. I'm putting it in the wheelhouse of a Sacred Wood from Killian, which is somewhat linear.
Okay.
Much more refined than those two to say, but man, I almost just want to send you a sample of Memoir Woman, because
no need. I promise. I'm going to make a promise.
Brother.
I'm not the collector for no reason. I will get it. I'm going to get it. And the reason why, let me sort of disclose this to the audience. We were talking about this off camera, and you asked me off camera, "Do you have Memoir Woman?" I'm like, "I don't, bro." Mm-hmm. And you're like, "What's wrong? Like, what is wrong with you, bro?" What is wrong with you? So on camera, I'm making a promise. I will get it. So I want to talk about the linear thing, because it's interesting that you feel that it might be. The way that I experienced the fragrance is on the opening, and I just did it before, the herbals are super bright. I mean, like just popping. And you can't just allocate it, in my mind, just to one thing, because those 3 notes, the wormwood, the basil, the mint, all almost like fighting for dominance into my nose, because I sometimes get the basil, then I get the mint, then I get the wormwood absinthe style, and all 3 of them are constantly sort of playing itself around. I don't get the cedar-like quality that you mentioned earlier, so I don't get the dry down just yet. Over time, as it begins to sort of settle itself down, I am now getting more of that woody effect intermingled with the herbals, and then finally, on the full dry down, which I am here now, I'm getting now that cedar pencil shaving. I'm still in the forest. I feel very much in the forest, but I am now getting a slight leathery effect. The mental picture that I have is almost like you have stumbled across a barbershop who has fougères. The dude is set up in the middle of the forest, and that's the element that I get here. So for those who love barbershop style fragrances, this is your barbershop deep in a forest, surrounded by woods, surrounded by moss, surrounded by earthiness and all that sort of element. So it gives it a different twist to the classic fougere, if you like that style of fragrance.
Absolutely. Beautiful stuff. I'm looking at it as shapes too, whereas I feel that Memoir Man is just much more dead on. I would say it's built to cut through the cold, and also I think it's more served for fall and winter.
I agree.
I do feel like it may be a little bit heavier. Even those cooler spring nights, it would work. Okay.
I totally agree.
I do feel it is more just like straight and narrow, whereas with Memoir Woman, it is rounder. And Memoir Woman, you speak of Memoir Man having fougere qualities. I feel, David's looking at me right now, would you feel that Memoir Woman has some sheeper qualities?
Yeah.
100%. And I was looking at the notes on Memoir Woman right now, and there's castoreum, but I don't see any oud in there. And for some odd reason, it does smell like there is actually some oud in there. Very similar to the oud that could be found in Epic Woman. But yeah, Memoir Man is very straight lined. It is very, it'll make you sit up in your chair and fix your collar. I'll put it that way.
So one thing that I love doing on the channel is if you like something, then you're gonna love. So for those who haven't experienced Memoir Man, but you are familiar with some other fragrances, then the idea is that you would then recommend this. Now, what I love, here's your challenge. While I'm gonna share my 2 that I would say if you like, then you'll love, can you get David to run around, because I know you've got all your fragrances listed out there, and select 2, and if it's okay, he can throw them at you.
Of course.
Because I love that setup that you guys do where he's throwing bottles at you, you know. So so I'm gonna share my 2, and in that time, that should give David enough time to find 2 fragrances that you can say if you like, then you'll love. Okay, so here's my 2.
Gotcha.
So if you haven't experienced Memoir Man, then I would, there's 2 fragrances that are similar. Or if you have experienced Memoir Man, then you should experience these other 2. Number 1 is the OG when it comes to all things fougere. Sorry, I'm going to turn my back to the camera. And that is Fougere Royale. This is by Hubigant. This is the classic. This is the one that started the whole fougere love affair. So here is the ultimate fougere profile. And then if you like this, you're gonna love this, because now this takes that structure, but it gives it a beautiful twist. So that's number 1. The second one that I really love in that sort of barbershop, masculine fougere, I just gave it away, is Sartorial by Penhaligon's. For me, this is the ultimate dressed up fragrance. I mean, Sartorial is meant to represent a suit shop, you know, something on Savile Row. And it is the most elegant, sophisticated, masculine fragrance for a man to wear with a suit on that I know of. So if you like those 2, or if you like Memoir, then you're gonna love those other 2. So they're my 2. Did that give David enough time to?
We were one step ahead of you.
Oh,
those are great choices.
Yes.
The only beef I had with Sartorial Man is
Sure.
Penhaligon's just do not last on my skin for whatever
okay.
reason. Right. Have an issue with them, and I wear. Listen, we know the lotion, we know all the tricks, but that one's. Penhaligon's and longevity just does not work for me for some reason. So David's got 2 right here. So if you like Memoir Man,
Yes.
Kaleidoscopes, David and I would recommend first and foremost, probably one of the best price to value sandalwoods, and it's 3 notes. It is cacao, damask rose, and sandalwood. And this has to be, this is heavenly. Santal Magical from Sirs Luten's. Holy cow, Marcelo. This is...
Oh, I have smelt that. I don't own it. That one I don't know. But I have smelt it, and it is, I totally agree, divine. Absolutely. Just rock star.
So I go back and forth with my top 3 from the house, and
Sure.
you know, Cherguise the classic, and I love David. What's the other one we love? Ombre Sultan.
Yes.
One of the best ambers ever typed.
Totally,
But Santal Magical is absolutely gorgeous. It's much more. It's a lot more creamier than what I would say. It's more rounded than Memoir Man. So that would be the first one, be Santal Magical. David, you got good hands? And let's actually keep it. David, you're don't toss that one. We got a bad lid on this one, but
Right.
we're gonna stay with Vinchon Spehner, and this is her recent creation for Bast, and this is her recent creation for Anti, and this is Bast. Now, we all know that there is incense in Memoir Man. With Bast, she actually took elements of the cardamom from Memoir Woman, and holy cow, so good. Such a beautiful incense fragrance. Nothing too dark, nothing too heavy. That, you know, a lot of people think incense is something you can wear to Catholic church on a Sunday. That's not the case with this. And Vinchon Spehner with Bast, a cool thing that she also did, I think she borrowed some of that good Omani frankincense from AMOUGE with this one as well too. So we have
old friends.
Frankincense.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, we have frankincense, cardamom, and a beautiful incense note. And you do have certain elements of Memoir Man in there. So yeah, I'm glad that I went with, I really like my pick, especially with the Bast from Anti.
So that last one, Bast, I have not experienced it yet. So I do look forward to, I'm going to be in Europe in another month or so. And I do look forward to hunting that baby down. And actually, I'm going to be, so now I'm going to brag. I'm going to be with Karin in the south of France for our
Wow.
fragrance tour. So I'll ask her about it. Maybe she can, hook me up with a free sample or something.
She definitely brought the amouage to anti,
Right.
for lack of better wording.
Right.
That could easily fall into, if I changed the bottling and labeling on that, you wouldn't tell the difference between from anti and amouage, to be honest with you.
Eric, thank you. That was awesome. That was my last say. The truth is, okay, I know that I've got the last say, but everything that we've shared, we both agree on. The only thing that
100%.
I would differ to what you mentioned is I do find that there is a good evolution on the fragrance. You did mention that you found that where it is what it is, but maybe it could be our skin chemistry. You mentioned also that Penhaligon's, your skin eats that thing up, whereas on me, Penhaligon's really tend to sit around for a lot longer. But other than that, I think we both agree that Memoir Man is an awesome,
Stellar.
Yeah, awesome fragrance, a good commanding fragrance. I did make a promise that I will get Memoir Woman, and I will report in on Mate Talk when it comes to my finding on that one. So I appreciate you putting that on my radar.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to really sample that one. And Marcelo, it's probably it's the oud gods from all the oud that David and I wear in this office. They're probably not recognizing what Memoir is, because I think we lay oud with everything. But that's the first thing David and I do when we come to the office, just layer ourselves with a base layer of oud.
I love that you guys are way into oud. I've noticed that. You guys are like, and you really want that forward, give it to me, straight up sort of oud, rather than this subtle, more gentle, woody-like, Thank you guys. Appreciate you taking the time. Eric, David, you guys are awesome. Now, next episode will be on Eric's channel, and it will be all about Boundless.
Ooh, I'm very interested to touch base on Boundless. This is a slept-on classic, one of the more slept-on fragrances in the amouage lineup. So yeah, I'm ready to speak my piece on that one.
Fair enough. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you guys all on the next episode.
Take care, guys.